So you mentioned earlier that you started in sports betting, and just based on some of your your tendencies to really analyze and study the market. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume a lot of like your strategies, your analysis, your like compulsiveness around understanding these markets. Did you get that from like that sports betting? Like, did that help you in this transition to cards? Like, tell me a little bit more about that and like how you went from full time better to now you have some of the most unique cards in the market.
So yeah, I got into the sports betting in high school,
Okay.
and was really really into it. Um, and I actually just had a knack for it. I kind of like was winning from the gate, but a lot of it was because I was so obsessed with basketball that I knew these teams really really well, and I knew these players really well. I'm naturally decent with math, and I think that helped me a lot. And then I spent a lot of times on the sports betting forums, and there were some actual like good people posting like some good information and some professional sports bettors that were on there that I reached out to,
Mhm.
and that helped me a lot. And then I kind of took a an angle at the time that not many people were doing, where I mainly wagered on prop bets. So this at the time, what people weren't really wagering on this, and I tried to wager in a way that like was almost common sense, but like you wouldn't think of it. So I'll give you one example. What NBA team is going to score first in a basketball game? It seems very like arbitrary, like random. It's going to be very hard to figure that out. But actually, if you can figure out who's going to win the jump ball, then that team scores 63% of the time. And there would be situations where DeAndre Jordan would be jumping against Ennis Cantor. Ennis Cantor in that jump ball won't even jump because it's an inconsequential play. You get the ball in the first and third, the other team gets the ball in the second and the fourth. So all of a sudden, every single night, I would just find out who's going to win the jump ball, and then I would wager on that team. And the mathematics works that that team scores like 63% of the time. There would be teams like the Pistons with Drummond, like they'd score all the time first because like they would go inside to him. The big man on the other team doesn't want to get in foul trouble early in the game, so he would basically just let him score. And like later in the game they'll foul him and he'll probably miss both free throws, but that wasn't the case at the beginning of the game. And then one more I'll give you guys is in football, what team is going to score first. So I went down a rabbit hole of what team is going to score first once I figured out the NBA one.
You went down a rabbit hole. You
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me.
So in football, I ended up finding out that there's some teams who receive and there's some teams who kick or defer. So I would find out the teams who are going to receive and then just wager on them to score first, because no matter what the coin toss was, the team that always chooses to receive and there's a team who always chooses first, they're going to get the ball first. So the same thing, I would just wager on that. And if you guys are going to try to do this now, it's not going to work anymore, because over the years, as people like myself and other people take advantage of this basically this how do you say it? Basically this inefficiency in the line, it eventually does get fixed. But that's kind of how I did the sports wagering. So it wasn't so much like wagering on the NFL game. That's going to be very, very hard. And for the people who are going to try that, like, kudos to you if you're able to do it. It's really, really difficult. But I basically would come into these smaller markets, and that's kind of where I would find my edge.